You're after something. Is it revenge? Money? Or is it something else? You look good. A little rough around the edges. But good.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bull Central. Going to be doing another 4K Blu-ray, UHD Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, UHD Blu-ray. I think if I say it enough times, it'll make the movie better. So we're checking out Solo, a Star Wars story. Just came out on Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, whatever you got, but this is the 4K. Kind of a contentious Star Wars movie, and honestly, Star Wars is not a franchise that is immune to contention, as we all learned from The Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens even though that's a much better liked movie, and the prequels certainly were a contentious time, a dark time for the galaxy. So let's talk about Solo. I saw this movie in theaters, and I didn't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. It's not the best Star Wars movie, but it has its bright spots. It's got its moments, I think. And to be honest with you, all the fan backlash from these newer generation Star Wars movies, I get it, and I don't begrudge anybody their opinions, certainly not. Especially since we're just talking about movies. You get to like what you like, you get to hate what you hate. And it's, whatever. Like what you like, hate what you hate. I happen to like these new movies, and it might be a slightly generational thing because I'm 34 years old as I sit here doing this YouTube video. And so I was coming of age when the prequels came out, and I didn't like them. And I don't like them to this day. And I feel like every single one of those prequel movies is worse than Solo, worse than The Last Jedi. And I don't know what to say, man. Like, when I saw The Last Jedi, it was like I was watching a totally different movie than the people who hated it. But I'm going to lay off that. Because, again, like what you like, hate what you hate. It's okay. It's okay to hate Star Wars. It's okay to like Star Wars. It's a movie. Don't take it so seriously. It's not World War III. In fact, I'm looking outside. World War III is happening right now. I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, it's coming. I can feel it. It's coming. And it's not going to be over Star Wars. Solo, it's kind of boring. Like, to be honest, I was just watching it last night, the 4K Blu-ray. It's not as energetic. It's not as interesting. There's a lot of like lip service to the other movies, as if to say, "Look, we're part of those too. You want to compare us to them," which is not a great comparison. But there's a lot of silly moments too that are just kind of dumb. But I think that there's enough in here for Star Wars fans and non-Star Wars fans to say, don't just run away from it. Like, there's actually merit to this movie. It's cool seeing Han Solo, even though the guy who plays him doesn't in any way represent Han Solo, whether by looking like him or even acting like him or having the swagger of Harrison Ford, right? But it's cool to see Lando. Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. I love Childish Gambino, man. I'm looking forward to his new album whenever that comes out. It's cool seeing the Falcon again. It's cool seeing Chewie. It's cool seeing the origin of story. Nobody asked for this movie, that's for sure. But it is cool to see it. I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life. When I was a kid, the VHS tapes were released, and that's where I come from. I didn't see any of the originals in theaters. I'm too young. But I did get an incredibly deep appreciation for these movies, and it's part of me. It's part of the fabric of my life. It's part of why I wanted to become a storyteller later on in life. And as a writer, with a writing background, I don't envy the guys who are having to keep going with this thing and make new versions of it. But as a writer, I also know that a franchise like this, something that's been around for so long and has so much power and weight to it at this point, it'll survive any single version that comes along that you don't agree with or that I don't agree with. So I say everybody cool it down. That means you. Cool it down about the Star Wars stuff. I like the new movies. I like all four of the new movies that have come out to varying degrees. This is the worst one of them. Solo is the worst one. So that's what I say. As far as the actual 4K Blu-ray goes, it's a pretty good transfer of the movie for 4K UHD. However, this is such a dark movie, and I don't mean in tone, I mean in actual, like, filmography, like color palette. It's so muddy and so dark you can't see anything sometimes, and that's fine. That's a stylistic choice. Ron Howard, God bless him, he's made so many great movies, and that's what he wanted for this film. But when you put it in a 4K transfer, and you make it so dark, you can't even see the 4K. You can't even see the UHD. So I'm like, why did I pay $30 for this 4K Blu-ray when I can't even tell that it's in 4K? It's antithetical to what you want out of a 4K Blu-ray. No one put a gun to my head and said you got to buy the 4K Blu-ray, but I figure Star Wars 4K gonna be great. Kind of not that great. As far as audio goes, it's got a Dolby Atmos track. Sounds fantastic. I wish it looked as good. The brighter parts of the movie look great, as they should, but it's a muddy movie. It's a dark looking movie. Bonus features are kind of where it's at on this guy, because there's a lot of cool little small documentaries, as kind of the style of Blu-rays these days. They don't have the big long 2-hour ones anymore. And there's a cool round table with Ron Howard and the rest of the whole cast, including the guys who were playing droids and stuff like that. And that was fun, and it gave me a little bit of information about where their heads were at and how they felt about the making of it, and just inside stuff, what you look for in bonus features. Let me tell you something. The really interesting part of the Blu-ray release here, the DVD release, is the cut scenes, because every single one of these deleted scenes is better than what's in the movie. And I think that's fascinating, especially since Lord and Miller, the original directors of this movie, were fired. I wonder how much of this is theirs. And I wonder how much more of it we're never going to see. And I wonder if we could just maybe put it all together, if we'd have a much, much better movie, like a 3-hour long Solo, a Star Wars story, that is so much better. Because like some of the stuff in here, I laughed at some of the stuff in here where I don't really much laugh in the movie as it's released. It's more interesting, it's more entertaining, it's more in keeping with the original characters. Someone out there in YouTube land, get a copy of this, cut it together with the actual movie, take out some of the stuff that's boring. You're going to have like the most epic fan cut of a movie that people kind of don't really like that much. This movie didn't do well at the box office, didn't really do well with fans. And I get the sense that there's a lot of people who just want to forget it ever happened. But when I do my Star Wars marathons, and I do them, okay, fine, I do a Star Wars marathon at least once a year, now that the new movies are coming out. When I do that, I was horrible to admit, I'm sorry. I'm going to do episode 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to switch to this guy, because it's the very next film in the whole series. And I'm not going to cut it out, because it is canon, as far as we know, forever, as far as we know, Disney. And I think people didn't give it a shot. That's what I think. I think you need to sit down, be objective. Not easy for Star Wars fans to be objective. Trust me, I know. Give it a shot. Be fair. It's not the best movie, no, but it's not the worst either. So I'm going to give Solo, a Star Wars story, 4K Blu-ray. I'm going to give it an 8. But really, it's saved 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Really, it's saved by the bonus features, because the movie itself isn't that great. If it was just the movie, I'd give it a 7 or maybe even a 6. Not the best Star Wars movie. But the bonus features kind of make this release worth it, even though I wish there were more of them. But I wish that for pretty much every single Blu-ray that comes along these days. So I say maybe check it out. That was the worst review ever. Maybe check it out. Definitely maybe check it out. There we go. So until next time, everybody, this is Jeff Bowles Central signing off for Jeff Bowles. Yeah, that sounds right. Like, subscribe to my channel. We bring you new stuff every single weekend. You'll love it. That's all from me. Bye-bye. And while you're at it, you can go online and buy my book here, Brave New Multiverse, a collection. Short stories redefined. It's insane. You'll love it. Bye.
Long time for a shot like this.
What do you think? Well, what do you know?
You got a line on a ship?